Looking for a great podcast to listen to on your drive home from work? The Blah Blah Bunker is a podcast that features interviews with regular people who have extraordinary stories to tell. Host Almar Himerson is one of them. In 25 years, he's gone from Icelandic lawyer and airline CEO to tattooed, bearded meat enthusiast with a startup in Central Europe. On the way, he's made plenty of stops and cultivated a habit of running into interesting people and asking them interesting questions. Nothing is off limits in the Blah Blah Bunker, and Almar may ask questions that most people wouldn't dare to ask. He interviews all kinds of people of diverse nationalities from all over the planet who are gambling experts, professional athletes, psychics, therapists, NASDAQ CEOs, singers, entertainers, and more. It's an eclectic show that features interesting people you will want to listen to. Check it out right now. The Blah Blah Bunker, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Add the Blah Blah Bunker to your playlist right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Well, I have all the notifications on my phone turned off all the time because, you're always getting notifications, right, for everything. I have every notification on my phone turned off except one, and that is for Truth Social. Because I've been on the waiting list. Since I've been on the waiting list, I put the notification on for Truth Social. I got a notification at 3:20 a.m. this morning from Truth Social, and it asked to verify my phone number. And I was just waking up anyway. It's about time to wake up for me in the morning. And I got so excited. So I put in my phone number, and it immediately sent me a text message with a verification code. So I get the verification code, I copy and paste it, I open up the Truth Social app, and a window comes up to enter the verification code. And I'm getting really excited. It's at 3:20 in the morning. I'm all alert and awake because I'm so excited I'm going to be on Truth Social. So I put the verification code in. I push the button, and then it says, You are now verified via text message. We will expedite your time on the wait list. And here I am, well over 12 hours later, and I'm still on the wait list. So
when was President's Day?
Was like the February 19th or something.
So it's like 3 weeks here.
Gee whiz. I was so excited, and I know a lot of you out there on the wait list too. Kathy is on Truth Social, and a listener messaged me on YouTube today, left a YouTube comment. They got on the wait list before you did, Kathy. They were number 53,000 immediately, and they're still on the wait list. So I don't know if the numbers. Can you check on Truth Social and see how many followers President Trump currently has? My original wait list number was 253,000 and something. So we're assuming that most everyone who gets on Truth Social follows President Trump. So we're watching his followers, and to see that number, to see if it's getting close to my wait list number. So where's he at?
Wow, 366,000. They've definitely increased it because he was about 180,000 like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So they're definitely amping it up. So they're past your number. I don't know what the holdup is. What I'm thinking is that you never validated your account through a phone number because you were having issues they weren't sending you. Well, maybe they didn't get it. And now that it's been officially validated, because you have to validate it with your number. Maybe now that it's been officially validated with your number, you'll get on much quicker. Maybe that was the holdup.
I'm still on the wait list.
I know. You'll get on, don't worry.
It's very frustrating.
I'm sure.
I'm not very good with suspense and waiting anyway.
No.
And this is really killing me. And I'm checking Truth Social like all the time.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you guys are too.
Yeah.
When we're all on, it'll be fine. And we'll all be using it, and it'll be exciting, and all this will be forgotten.
Things are picking up on it. I can tell there's more
Not for
truths
me.
in the thread. But you're right. There's when you hit the search, and it needs some more things that like Twitter has. There's really not like a trending list. You can't put GIFs on there yet.
There will be.
I'm hoping they add that kind of stuff. There's a few, and I still think they should add an edit feature to your post. I think that would really.
Well, there's a reason why they don't
great.
do that on Twitter. You can edit on Facebook when you put in a comment. You can't do it on Twitter. You can't do it on Truth. And the reason that is you can edit what you said, and then everyone's comments on that thread will be in a different context. That's why they don't let you edit.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, okay. Well, people comment on Facebook on what you
Facebook
post,
so they let you do it.
It's the same deal.
I know. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. And I'm going to see President Trump on the 19th.
Well, you should talk to him about it.
I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to say, out of everything I'm going to say, Mr. President, I'm still on the wait list, and I'm going to hold up my iPhone, and I'm going to show President Trump that I'm on the wait list and see if he could call like Devin Nunes over and snap his fingers and get me off the wait list.
And get you a red check mark while you're at it.
Yeah. They use red check marks to verify you on Truth Social, but no, there's not a process to get verified, so Devin Nunes has to know who you are. But I don't know. I would just be satisfied with getting on Truth. So, and I know more and more people are getting on it. Your account popped up live as we were sitting here. I think it was Friday last week, Thursday or Friday last week when we were getting ready to do the show. And I saw that happen live and what happens, and I've heard from other. So I know that people on the wait list are getting on it because you did, but just not me.
Right. Well, your time will come.
By the way, if I'm still on the wait list when I see President Trump on the 19th, I am not going to bring it up to him. You think I'm going to go up to President Trump and bring up like a negative?
No,
there's no way.
I know you wouldn't.
There's no way I'm not going to bring it up to him. But if I see Devin Nunes, I might bring it up to Devin Nunes. And by the way, I got not only am I seeing President Trump on the 19th, I got a private message on what I have to do and prepare for to go through the security to get to the president. So I've never gotten that before.
That's new. Yeah,
well, it's new for me. I've seen the president a whole bunch of times. Yeah. I guess I'm at a new level now. Maybe. I'm at a different tier. So they gave me this special information.
Or you're on a list.
Yeah.
One or the other.
A good list. If it's a list for Trump, it's a good list.
Yeah,
it's not the naughty list, it's the good list.
Naughty or nice list.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to be on Truth Social when I see him because you can make 2-minute videos on Truth Social.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to make videos. I'd like to.
Well, you got a little over a week, so let's hope you get on.
But I've been waiting weeks.
19th.
I'd like to, if it was working, I'd like to show him that I'm recording on his social media platform. I think that he would get a kick out of that. Yeah. You think he'd get a kick out of that?
I do.
Hey, Mr. President, I'm on Truth Social with you. Could you imagine if I'm on Truth Social and I make a video on Truth Social with me with President Trump?
That'd be awesome.
That would be like the first viral thing on Truth Social, I think. I don't know. But
now you're getting into fantasy land.
I know. I'm going to be on. I'm never going to get on it. I'm never going to get on. I'm starting to lose hope. Whatever. Well, listen, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. And we're going to get into a whole bunch of things. This war in Ukraine, the Russian-Ukraine war, I don't know what we call this war. Is it the Ukraine-Russian war? Is it the Russian-Ukraine war? It is amazing to me what Fox News Channel has done here. Mm-hmm. Fox News Channel, and some of you out there will disagree with this, okay? But I think if you think about it, you'll agree if you think about it after a while, because some of you aren't going to like what I'm going to say. But Fox News Channel obviously is promoting U.S. involvement in a war. They're promoting it nonstop, and it's one-sided only. It's all Zelenskyy is a hero. He's a sex symbol. He's the leader of the flavor of the month and all this stuff. And I'm not approving of Russia invading Ukraine. I am opposed to the war in Ukraine. I'm against war, blah, blah, blah. I always got to do these disclaimers because if you say anything negative about Zelenskyy, immediately they say, oh, you're a Putin puppet. I'm no Putin puppet. But Fox News has been so pro-war, get U.S. involvement in defending Ukraine, which we know nothing about what's going on here. All we know about Ukraine is it's a Very, very corrupt country. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of corrupt business dealings with Joe Biden, and that's mostly what we know. And this new biolab thing, which we'll talk about later. But Fox News, what they've done that no one else has been able to do is it's a small divide, but they've been able to cause a bit of a divide among Trump supporters, among MAGA, because I think most Trump supporters are like us. The U.S. should not be involved. We should have nothing to do with this war. It's an internal conflict between Russia and Ukraine. None of our business. They're not a NATO ally, thankfully. But a lot of people that are MAGA do watch Fox News. A lot of people do. I mean, Fox News is number one in cable. I watch Fox News sporadically. Yeah. I'm not a big follower of Fox News. I'm a Newsmax guy. I like Greg Kelly. I don't watch a lot of TV news, honestly. I don't. I know most of you probably don't either. Mm-hmm. But since this show is online, you're an online audience. We're online people, so it's.
I think the audience, and for the most part, well, I think a big chunk definitely get their information from sources other than TV network.
Well, yeah, but a lot. Let
us know in the comments. I'm curious.
Yeah, a lot of Trump people, and I don't mean just Steve Kane. A lot of Trump people get their news from Fox News. Fox News is number one in cable news, not because of liberals, because conservatives who watch cable news mostly watch Fox News. And people that get their news or a lot of their news from Fox News, I had Fox News on a lot in the background today because the reason I did is the Jussie Smollett verdict is supposedly coming today.
I'm curious. He faces up to 3 years, and I personally think he should get the maximum sentence because he, things like that, what he did, not only did he bring on the whole police force to help him, and that cost money and took police away from real crimes, but what he did is a crime, and what he did is something that could cause other people to get hurt, because racial tensions in this country are very sensitive right now. I mean, what he did, it could have caused a whole city to be burned down.
Oh, and he caused
very reckless. And
he caused a big racial divide during all the BLM. So I've had Fox News a lot today in the background because I've been waiting for the Jussie Smollett verdict, which, as we are speaking now, has not yet come out. But when you're listening to the show later, it may have already been out. But anyway, it's been Ukraine all day, and if you listen to it, it's Putin's a war criminal. The Ukrainian government are completely innocent victims. And again, I'm not saying Putin's did the right thing here, but what I'm just saying is if you get your news and information from Fox News and you're a Trump supporter, you're hardcore advocating for U.S. intervention on the side of Ukraine. And this idea that anytime there's a conflict in the world, there are two sides, and we're supposed to grab onto a side and defend. Both sides are bad in this, and and Madison Cawthorn, Congressman, who I like a lot, he was speaking to a group of people, and someone recorded him on their cell phone, and he calls Zelenskyy a thug, and it's just a short clip. But listen to this. This is Madison Cawthorn, hot mic moment.
Send Stinger missiles over to them so they can defend themselves better. But remember that Zelenskyy is a thug. Remember the Ukrainian government is incredibly corrupt and it is incredibly evil and it has been pushing woke ideologies and it really does the new woke world.
Okay, that's all we got. I hope more will come out. But a corrupt thug, he called him. Evil, woke, corrupt thug. And they're sending all this money to Ukraine on what? What are they doing? And I'll tell you what's going on. The Ukraine government officials are filling up their Swiss and Cayman Island bank accounts with it.
I think so, too. In fact, I think
that's what they're doing.
I think they want to keep the war going because they're making more money. They're
making a lot of money.
Where is this money going? My mom came over today. She donated money to some Ukrainian thing, and I told her, I said, I'm not giving any money to that at all. They got plenty of our money. I said, they got over $1 billion from the government.
And they're going to get more.
And, and I said, I feel like they're keeping this war going. I know it kind of just started, but, they just go on TV and keep asking for money and this and help and money. I understand there's, a situation going on there, but, they're also getting very rich off this.
Yeah,
wars are very, profitable for some people.
Everyone, Democrats and Republicans alike, have been saying for a long time, Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the modern world. Right, because it's a European country. That's not like, some third world.
Well, we know with Burisma and their dealings with the Bidens and all that is questionable.
So you're going to give unlimited amounts of billions of dollars to, like Madison Cawthorn said, thugs, right? An organized criminal operation. And I'll tell you, there's some things that I find very suspicious about this, okay? And obviously, I'm not in denial. There's a war going on, and there are attacks going on, and there's combat going on.
That's not good. We're not saying that's a good thing.
But there are a couple of things I've noticed in Kiev. I don't care. They call it Kiev. It's been Kiev my whole life. Yeah, I'm not going to start calling it Kiev.
They've changed.
Kiev sounds like some guy's name. Kiev, like some nickname.
Like Kiev Richards.
Yeah, Kiev Richards. That's right. Kieverland Sutherland.
Right.
But
we always say Kiev, like chicken Kiev.
Exactly. There's two things I've noticed that have happened lately in the last few days. One is I watch on YouTube a live stream that has 4 or 5 live cameras 24 hours a day in Ukraine. And it's like a normal day and night. There aren't a lot of people on the streets, especially at night, but there's cars driving around and the street lights are all on. If they were concerned about bombing, they don't have the street lights on because street lights are used for targeting. Okay?
Remember they used to do that in World War II?
Exactly.
In London, the city would go dark.
That's right.
And they would have like an air raid sign and everybody would hunker down and they would turn off all the lights and you had to stay in your house or your apartment or whatever.
That's right.
Isn't that what they did?
Yeah. And
that's not going on, I guess.
And then yesterday, Zelenskyy was walking around his presidential offices like he had not a worry in the world, and everything was in perfect condition. If he is the most hunted and wanted man in the world right now, which would be Putin would want him, would he be walking around like he owned the place? And then he also did that Zoom call with Congress. They knew where he was. He did a similar thing with the Brits, with the British joint session of Parliament. And I really didn't care for what Zelenskyy did when he addressed a joint session of Parliament, the House of Commons and the House of Lords. They all gave him a standing ovation, which reporters said has never happened before.
He's becoming like a big hero of Europe and of the left, and they're just throwing money at this guy.
Yeah. And what he did when he talked to the Brits is he used that old speech. He did what Biden does. He plagiarized.
Yes.
He plagiarized Churchill's speech. We'll fight them at the beaches. We'll fight them. And he knew. Zelenskyy is an actor. He's an actor. Yeah. So he knows how to play the camera and what to do and everything and about theatrics. And I agree with Madison Cawthorn. We don't know anything about this guy other than somehow he's an actor comedian who ended up being president of the most corrupt country in the world, and we're just supposed to give him billions of dollars and all of a sudden he's a good guy. I do not think so. I just don't think so. And there's definitely something. Again, I'm not defending Russia. I'm not saying Russia's in the right. But what I'm saying is that the mainstream corporate media in the United States have created something around Zelenskyy and Ukraine that is not true. Now, I did find just a bit ago the one Ukrainian YouTuber that had not streamed for a couple of days.
Yeah.
What's his name again? Pavlo?
Something like that.
Pavlo in Ukraine. He is back. He was live streaming today. So
you were a little concerned.
Oh, he was live streaming every day.
Yeah,
and then he stopped. So but he was back live streaming today. So he's okay, and he's like a 25-year-old guy, big guy, and he's sitting at grandma's house. Okay, he's not out there fighting. So if I got a call today on the show, a Ukrainian immigrant who lives in Kentucky. And he's 42 years old, he told me. And I asked him, I said, do you think the United States should be involved militarily on the ground defending Ukraine? And he says, yeah. And I said, well, why are you in Kentucky then? Why are you here? And he said, oh, well, I got a bad back. So this Ukrainian guy in Kentucky, he's not going, but he wants to send over the U.S. Army.
Yeah, he's like that dancer.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, you're like Max from Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever that guy's name is. You want to send Americans to fight while you're hanging out here in America.
If he calls again, ask him why. Why should we? Why should we risk our lives
he had the standard line.
And risk getting
Putin's
involved?
Hitler.
Well, I know they like to. I'm not saying he's a good guy, and they like to compare him to that. But we didn't get involved in World War II right away either. In fact, It didn't happen until the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Of course, my mom's third husband fought in World War II and said that FDR knew about that and let that happen. Who knows? That's what a lot of people from World War II
I believe that.
think.
I believe that.
That he knew about it.
Absolutely.
This is what I realized today. And I was talking to my mom about it. She was visiting me this morning. Is there is so much corruption in this world. It is beyond. There's things, we're living our normal life here and just getting by, and everybody's just trying to work hard in America and provide for their family and, have a decent life. There are people that are so wealthy and so powerful. Their lives are so different from ours. And there's so much corruption and depravity that it would probably turn your hair white if you really knew everything that was going on in this world. You wouldn't want to know. But all I know is there's a lot of corruption in these governments, these powerful world leaders. I don't want to see people get hurt or bombed or anything, but there's a lot of corruption going on. There's a lot of suspicious activity going on. And, it's hard to discern. That's the frustration. It's hard to discern what's, is it real or is it Memorex?
That's true.
Kind of thing.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
From author Vivek Shukla comes your next must-read book, An Unforgettable Journey to Hometown, a travel memoir about discovering willpower, available on Amazon. The book revolves around a journey that Vivek and his 3 friends planned to their hometown from their college. They embarked on this journey with lots of thrill. However, as the events unfolded, it turned out to be a one-of-a-kind, never-ending journey that tested the grit of Vivek and his friends to overcome. This journey proved to be a litmus test of how a shy person became confident. All it needed was a determination to reach somewhere in the company of friends. Based on real events, this book is the debut book from author Vivek Shukla. The author wanted to share his journey with young, shy adults so they can draw parallels to discover the moment of their life that would have helped them emerge bold and independent. An Unforgettable Journey to Hometown, a travel memoir about discovering willpower. From author Vivek Shukla. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions.
I never really consider myself to be creative, and the bigger picture is what matters to me the most.
And being a doctor ain't for everybody. And people get into it and they start it and then they realize, hey, this is not what I want.
For me, self-care is so about rigor in a lot of ways. Like, it is intense. American capitalism in the last couple of years has really co-opted what self-care looks like.
Join us on the Concrete Growth Project podcast with Shania Taylor, where stories are the seeds that cause others to grow.
Embrace your faith and tap into a boundless source of love, strength, and abundance through Christ. In the book from author Danny Davis, In Him You Are. Trusting God with who you are, what you have, and how He sees you. Available on Amazon. This must-read and life-changing book artfully blends a heartfelt message of faith with poignant reflections and timeless biblical wisdom. This touching book seeks to open your mind and heart to Christ, encouraging you to embrace your faith and walk closer to God with the lessons of Scripture. In Him You Are challenges you to place your trust in Christ and experience the boundless love that propels us into a rich, fulfilling, and abundant life. The book contains thought-provoking reflections and prompts for readers to practice self-discovery, rich spiritual wisdom, and timeless biblical lessons. Also included are practical insights for living a victorious Christian life, challenges that will inspire you to confront the lies that keep you from living fully, and much, much more. This book is perfect for both devout Christians and newcomers to the faith. Are you ready to create the life that God intended for you? Take that first step right now and order your copy of In Him You Are. Trusting God with who you are, what you have, and how He sees you. From author Danny Davis. Available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Now, we mentioned this story yesterday. Now we got more detail. Project Veritas has a new video coming out. And, James O'Keefe saved America. James O'Keefe saved America 12 years ago when he exposed Acorn. And a lot of people, I'll just quickly review that real quick. I won't go through all the details, and we'll get into the new story. But James O'Keefe used to get on every news outlet. They used to have him on. They were always talking about him. He's breaking news all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And the media won't put him on anymore.
No,
and, they just don't. And Newsmax TV should make a deal with Project Veritas and give them specials. Like when they have a new release, give them like an hour-long special in prime time, like on Saturday night or something, or Sunday nights.
I don't know. Maybe they're afraid of him too.
Well, they're good, and yeah. Well, let me just tell you guys real quick, who may not have been around then following such things, about how James O'Keefe from Project Veritas Saved America. That pimp hooker thing he did with Acorn. Acorn was an organization that was very close with Barack Obama, and in 2010, Obama was putting the United States Census under the control of Acorn. And the United States Census is how the federal government does almost everything, allocates congressional districts, the Electoral College, and all that are connected to it. Government funding for everything, from your local schools and libraries to roads to everything. Almost everything the federal government does is connected to the census.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important. And Acorn was going to be put in charge of it. And when James O'Keefe did that pimp and hooker thing, going to Acorn offices from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between, asking for their help to set up houses of prostitution for underage prostitutes, and they all were willing to help, Obama was forced to take the census away from Acorn, and that saved us in that census. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
What would have...
That was a really big breaking story, I remember.
Yeah.
But you're right. They've kind of, shut him out. But, these things, they might not get out in the mainstream, but they do get out there. And, like through people like us and other people talk about these things. So, that's why it's important to not just watch the television news.
I agree. And James O'Keefe, his mentor was the great Andrew Breitbart.
That's right.
And, And, Laura Loomer started out working with James O'Keefe. And James O'Keefe and Project Veritas are awesome, but they have every month, a couple of months, they have a new drop, and it's almost always earth-shattering and very little press coverage, if any, outside of the conservative MAGA media. But they got a new one that is very, very important, and the media are covering it up. I'm going to read to you the version of this story out of Breitbart.
Yeah, we mentioned this yesterday on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm reading from Breitbart now. A Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times reporter allegedly claimed, quote, there were a ton of FBI informants amongst the people at the Capitol on January 6th, according to a video released by Project Veritas. I'll get into more detail. Now,
why are they saying allegedly claimed? He's on video saying it.
Well, they got, just for legality, they got to say that they're required. Okay. And I know what a lot of you out there are kind of new to politics, and you'll say, well, we already knew that. There's a difference between believing something, suspecting something, and having
validation, confirmation.
Well, evidence. Yeah. Evidence. And this is a New York Times reporter. So what a New York Times reporter is verifying our suspicions about the Capitol breach. Okay?
And he's the national security correspondent.
That's
this is not some entertainment reporter.
Yeah.
This guy, this is what he reports on.
So when a lot of you, because I deal with this a lot, and it's a little frustrating, guys. Sometimes you'll do this. You'll say, oh, well, like for example, I'll give you an example just this week, the biolabs in Ukraine. Okay. So we got confirmation from the State Department lady said there's biolabs in Ukraine.
Right.
And a lot of MAGA people say, well, we knew that 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I knew it 2 weeks ago too. But we had something someone from the Biden administration confirmed what we had heard, which was an internet rumor. It's no longer an internet rumor. It's a fact.
It shows you that a lot of these internet rumors, a lot of them are true.
Yeah, it is. And the way
we've had two now confirmed, by people on the left.
Yeah, the way you got to look at these stories, like this Capitol breach story I'm going to get into, or the biolabs, you got to look at things like we're in a court of law, the court of public opinion. So we hear something, it's an internet rumor, we believe it's true, it comes from some sources that we trust, but we don't have evidence of it. Then a undersecretary of state at the Biden State Department confirms it. That's evidence. We suspect that there are a lot of feds with that were responsible for the Capitol breach. Now we have a very liberal reporter from the New York Times. The New York Times is in the loop with all these people giving eyewitness testimony in this Undercover Project Veritas video, confirming our suspicions. So this is like a court. This is like evidence. So when you say, well, we knew that, you really discount the significance of it and stop the story from moving forward, because now we have evidence that confirms everything. So let me get to the story.
Which matters. It matters because because it's showing that there is deception. It's showing that there is an actual effort to cover up the truth.
Yeah.
So it is important to know that it's not just that this guy admitted it. He's saying that they covered it up.
Yeah.
That they reported the opposite.
Let me read the story here. This is in Breitbart. Matthew Rosenberg is the New York Times national security correspondent and co-author of The Next Big Lies, January 6 Was No Big Deal, or A Left-Wing Plot. That's the title of the article. In that article, New York Times reporters wrote that conservative outlets suggested that the FBI planted agents to stir up the crowd, and that's a false flag, rewriting of history and a reimagining of January 6th. However, Rosenberg contradicted his reporting when speaking to an Undercover Project Veritas reporter.
It means he lied.
Well, yeah, and hid the truth. His reporting is a lie.
Right.
Rosenberg reportedly said the New York Times went and uncovered the fact that, there were a ton of FBI informants among the people who attacked the Capitol. He went on to explain how the New York Times is allegedly, now again, allegedly for legal reasons, circumventing intelligence agencies' ban on officers speaking with reporters by reaching out and speaking with people who have recently left, who are still talking to people inside the CIA, NSA as well, because people on the inside cannot talk. Portions of the video released by Project Veritas reportedly show Rosenberg explaining how he got sucked into writing an article for the January 6th anniversary by his managing editor at the New York Times. Rosenberg spoke about a story he was working on at the time, and it goes into some details about that. He went on to explain he believes the left overreacted to the January 6th Capitol riot, and he goes into that. But he confirmed, you see, this guy, national security correspondent with the New York Times, if you remember, James Comey was regularly seen walking into the front door of the New York Times, giving them stories. Remember all that?
Wow.
The New York Times is part of the club. So when you
that's their go-to publication,
the paper of record,
the people that want these false stories out there.
Yes,
that's where they're going to get they're using the media to lie to the American people, and the media is very left and very woke, so they're glad to oblige because they think the same way. They feel it's for the greater good. Well, we want to make Trump look bad. We want to make MAGA look bad. So, yeah, we'll write this story even though it's all BS. We'll do what you want us to do because we're on the same page here.
And the New York Times reporter,
it's disgusting.
When he says there were a large number of undercover federal agents egging them on, that's not his opinion. He knows that for a fact.
Oh, and and he said a lot.
Yeah.
He said it like he emphasized a lot.
Yeah.
How many would a lot be, do you think? A couple dozen?
Who knows?
A few
20,
hundred?
50, 100? We don't know. But so what he is saying is there were a lot of undercover federal agents that egged it on.
Not a few.
And that the New York Times covered that up and reported that it was not true when he knew it was true. This is a huge bombshell breaking news event. And, that Capitol breach has led to a lot of things, including President Trump was banned from social media and other things. And so don't let yourself say, well, we knew this. Now we know that the New York Times has evidence that our suspicions were true.
Well, let's see if Tucker covers this, because this is up his alley. He seems to go there and cover these kinds of things. Hannity won't. He's a coward. But let's see, because this really kind of came out yesterday on Twitter, and that's why we talked about it before anybody else. We just saw it on Twitter, and now it's in Breitbart. And I know Tucker, he might not listen to us, who knows, but he definitely reads Breitbart. So he's aware of this, and I'm sure he's seen the video. I would love to see Greg Kelly. This is something he would cover without hesitation.
Absolutely.
I would love to see Greg
We'll
Kelly
watch Greg
cover
Kelly
this
tonight.
So we will see who covers What? On who talks about it? This to me is a bombshell, like you said. It's a huge story.
This is one of the biggest stories of the last couple of years.
I agree.
Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters and for all of their support of the program. And if you don't know what Patreon is, it's a website and a platform, patreon.com. And there's a link to our Patreon page in the episode description on whatever platform you're listening to. Now, the link may not be clickable depending on what platform you're on. You may have to copy and paste it. There's a clickable link on my website, briancraigshow.com. But what Patreon is, it's a way for you to financially support the program, and you can do that, and there are perks to becoming a Patreon supporter, including getting commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode, and other perks as well. So, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, as I said, there's a link in the episode description. And one of the perks, our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Jacquelyn, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. I want to just talk here briefly about the gas prices, which are just going crazy. You know, my mother told me today that what she's doing is when she has 3/4 of a tank, she's filling up. And she today went and got gas. She was at 3/4 of a tank. She just bought a quarter tank of gas, and it was $32.
No way.
Yeah, I guess Well, you know,
she what kind of car? She's like a small SUV, not like a big kind of.
Well, a lot of time, you're topping off the tank. It's beyond just the tank, and then you're topping it off. $32. Right. Yeah, I didn't. You know, I asked her how much it was a gallon, and she couldn't remember. And let me tell you,
oh my goodness,
you know, my mother is a widow, and I don't want to say how old she is because she doesn't want people to know how old she is. But she is retired. She works part-time. She's on a very, very fixed income.
Yeah.
And that is a financial hardship on my mother. In fact, maybe what we'll do for Mother's Day, of course, we're going to get her I think we're going to get my mom some MyPillow, slippers, and maybe a MyPillow bathrobe.
And maybe a gas card.
And a gas card, yes. And a gas gift card, yeah.
You know, those would make good gifts for people right now, I guess. The MyPillow and slip in a gas card.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, the MyPillow, right now is a perfect time to shop at MyPillow for Mother's Day. Because everything is in stock, every size, every color, because, you know, they run out of things for Christmas. And when you get close to Mother's Day, you start to run out of items and sizes and colors.
You just have to decide what you want to get your mom because they really do have a lot of amazing
And the specials right now with the promo code Kane are very good. 50% off the MyPillow, My Slippers. And there's a huge special on the MyPillow bathrobes too. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say 30% off the MyPillow bathrobes with our promo code Kane and check out KANE. But I think a gas gift card is a good thing to add with it.
So if you buy $100 gift card, she'll be able to fill up her tank once.
Half a tank. Yeah.
Half a tank. Depending on the car.
You know, this is, you know.
Those people are somebody had sent a message. They put that I did that Biden sticker.
I see them on the gas pumps at Wawa all the time.
And I asked them, where did you get this? And you can get them on Amazon. You can buy a whole pack of 100 for $5. I was going to get some, but I wanted to talk to you first. And for $5 on Amazon, you can get a whole pack of 100 stickers, and they're different poses of Biden pointing or doing something that says, I did that, or looking stupid.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
People are putting them all over the gas stations.
We do not advocate putting them on gas pumps because that is vandalism.
Oh, yes,
okay?
I'm sorry.
So
well, that's why I didn't buy them.
We're not promoting vandalism, and we don't have any of them.
No, we don't. I didn't buy any.
I see them on gas pumps all the time.
And that's considered vandalism?
Yes, it is. In some states, it's illegal. I saw a gas station owner in one of the Democrat states. He's got to spend his days peeling them off the gas pumps.
I'm sure it's perfectly fine in Florida.
He can get fined for doing that.
That's nuts.
But gas prices, I just say this about the gas prices. There's no hope in sight for them to start going down or stabilize. They're just going to keep going up. In fact, the current gas prices we have do not even reflect the changes of not getting oil from Russia yet. So they're going to get higher.
Yeah, everything's Putin's fault.
I have never seen a presidential administration so uncaring about the American people as the Biden administration.
No, totally out of touch.
I heard a guy interviewed on Fox a couple days ago that says because of the gas prices, he's not going to be able to buy lunch at work.
Wow.
And he wasn't kidding.
See, and people might, like Jen Psaki might say, oh, so what? You know, just pack your own lunch. She's rich. They don't understand. It's a ripple effect. Okay. He doesn't buy lunch now out. That's going to affect that business where he buys lunch. Correct. Which is going. The Roach Coach or whatever. Say he buys lunch at the same place every day. Say he goes to Subway or whatever, or Jersey Mike's or whatever for lunch every day. So say 5 other people or 10 other people have the same thought. Well, I'm going to have to stop going to Starbucks now or stop getting my lunch at Subway and this and that. It's not, them just to have a laissez-faire attitude. Well, so what? And this and that. These things have a ripple effect on many businesses. That's right. And other people's jobs. That's what they don't seem to understand. I mean, they're just heartless people. They're totally out of touch. They don't care. And anytime somebody presents something to her, I just can't stand her. Presents something to her, her whole attitude is basically, well, who gives a damn?
Yeah. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
There's a series of books that will take you on a fantastic journey into another world. The Prince Zachy series of books, available online at princezachybook.com and Amazon. The first book, Prince Zachy and the Royal Sword of Luella. Prince Zachy is heir to the throne, and his father has decided that on his 20th birthday, he will succeed him and become king of Luella. The prince embarks on an expedition across his great kingdom before the ascension to the throne. Prince Zachy is taken to a mysterious island where there's a special school for uniquely gifted children, and he begins to learn and unravel the hidden secrets of souls and life. The story continues in the second book, Prince Zachy and the momentous Battle of the Kingdom. Here, the Battle of the Kingdoms takes place in the Royal Amphitheater, and the winner is awarded the newly discovered island. Prince Yalom aids Prince Zachy in the preparations of the Battle of the Kingdoms. An unexpected visitor from Prince Zachy's past returns to cause mayhem in the lead up to and during the momentous battle. Join the exciting adventure right now and order your copy of the Prince Zachy book series online at princezachybook.com and on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. A mystical unseen city, an urgent royal request, and a dangerous mission that will push David into a brave new world beyond his imagination. The book, The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr, is a #1 new release on Amazon, featuring action-packed pages, fast-moving plots, and a secret world of high-flying fun. Still wiping off dragon drool from their last adventure, David wonders what's next and whether he's really cut out to be a true dragon flyer. When the evil Night Riders show up, determined to hunt the Flyers and their dragons down, he realizes the real adventure has just begun. Does he have what it takes to be a hero? Find out when you read The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr. This is an imaginative and exciting book with a relatable hero. Kids will love the vivid imagery, the brilliant word building, and the non-stop action. Parents will love the lessons of courage, teamwork, and true friendship. This book is perfect for young readers. Order your copy right now on Amazon, available in Kindle and paperback. The Dragonflyers, Book 2, City of Dragons, from author Cynthia Starr. Have you wanted to learn how to make a living in real estate? Real estate can be intimidating, but with the right guidance, you can begin a successful real estate career. Shannon Robnett is a second-generation builder and developer, fourth-generation realtor with over 35 years experience in real estate. And on his podcast, Robnett's Real Estate Rundown, he shares his experience and knowledge with listeners. Listen to this clip from a recent episode.
And I've always been able to get people to help me bring that dream to life so that at the end of the day, what we're seeing happen is we're seeing a raw piece of land turn into a commercial investment that is of benefit to the whole community. And then out of that, we're able to create a significant upside for the investors in that development project. So after 12 or 14 months, those investors will receive, I don't want to brag, but over 35% return.
Shannon Robnett shares advice that's actionable on wholesaling, fix and flips, single family, multifamily, and more. Robnett's Real Estate Rundown is available on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, YouTube, Podchaser, and Spotify. Add Robnett's Real Estate Rundown to your playlist right now. It's time to take charge. Your future awaits. The book, Anywhere But Here, from author Benjamin Fishbein, available on Amazon, is a guide that can help you achieve your goals. Benjamin Fishbein offers a never-before-shared 5-step plan proven to help people just like you live their best life. When you read Anywhere But Here, find solid tips to avert disaster, as well as proven techniques for success. You're about to read a roadmap that works. You'll learn 5 steps that will change your life, insights for self-reflection, tools for success, and so much more. If you've been looking for a sign to change your life, this is it. Anywhere But Here, from author Benjamin Fishbein, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. So, did you guys see this bizarre giggle thing with Kamala, with the president of Poland? Let me play this. This was just embarrassing.
Because she is embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's wrong
I'd like to ask you about some reporting that my colleague here in Poland noticed. He recently spoke with the mayor of the largest border town, who told him that the refugee system is essentially not set up for this, that it will collapse. It's an improvised system that can work for maybe 2 weeks, but not indefinitely. And I'm wondering what the United States is going to do more specifically to set up a permanent infrastructure. And relatedly, is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees? And for President Duda, I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
Okay. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, so this time.
Oh my God.
Szanowna pani redaktor,
she is an embarrassment.
The situation is very complex.
Okay. Now, what happened with Kamala there?
She is so in over her head.
Kamala didn't know what to say.
No, she did not.
She did not understand really the question. She has no depth of knowledge, and she made a friend in need is a friend indeed. I've heard that phrase before. I don't know. Is that from a song?
I'm gonna look it up. Right, I've heard it. I mean, it's like something you learn in like kindergarten that they put on the wall in your classroom.
I mean, that is embarrassing for the United States, and she. You know what? I'll tell you. I don't know how she got through the law school and passed the bar.
It's a proverb. Let's see.
It's an embarrassment, is what it is.
It's an embarrassment for her.
Well, when you find it, let me know.
I'm trying to find the origins, like if it came from Benjamin Franklin or something.
Well, you know, this nervous cackle in a very serious thing that she did on the world stage, you know, when we talk about the 25th Amendment, because Biden is so cognitively checked out, I think we might be better off with Biden than with her.
Of course.
And I know we'd rather, have Trump or someone else.
Obviously.
But she really, like when she talked about, Ukraine is a little country and Russia's a bigger country, and the bigger country. Remember that the other day?
She's got the mind of a 5-year-old, apparently.
How'd she pass the bar?
I don't know. Maybe she didn't.
I don't know. Maybe someone.
Maybe we should. Instead
Tucker
of going,
needs to look at her grade.
Exactly. Instead of going after the new Supreme Court nominee, let's go out. Let's find Kamala's LSAT scores.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Peter Doocy asked Jen Psaki a great question today. We're not going to have Jen Psaki too long because she's.
It's an old Latin proverb.
Okay. Well, it's been
around a long time,
and now it's a new American embarrassment.
That's right.
Psaki's going to be leaving soon. And all the major liberal news outlets are making job offers to her to go work for them. And I don't know.
Nobody's going to watch her show.
I don't know if she's going to have a show or be a pundit. But I won't be interested in watching that. But Doocy asked her a very good question today that put her on the spot. I thought it was pretty good. Listen.
Inflation goes up today. The president's statement blames the Putin price hike. Are you guys just going to start blaming Putin for everything until midterms?
Well, we've seen the price of gas go up at least 75 cents since President Putin lined up troops on the border of Ukraine.
And last month, the statement didn't mention the Putin price hike. It mentioned inflation because of the pandemic. Why is that?
Well, Peter, last 2 years, there was a global pandemic. Everyone who's global economists have all agreed that has been the biggest contributor to date of inflation because of the impact on the supply chain. Obviously, global events impact.
Okay, it goes on. So, basically we have an administration that's going to blame somebody else and something else for all of their problems. Nothing is their fault.
Never.
They're just victims. When you're in charge, the country is always going to encounter problems. So when you are in charge, what your job is to have solutions to those problems, not just sit around and blame somebody else. But the problem is this that we're having.
Exactly. They should say, this is what, it doesn't matter who's to blame, but it does. But they should say, but we're going to fix it. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, but the problem is they're causing the problems.
Right, exactly.
So,
well, that's what Scott Presler said. Democrats cause all the problems so then they can come in and be the hero. It's like psychotic. It's like the arsonist who's a fireman.
Yeah, exactly. There was
they set the fire so they can put them out.
That happened. There was an arsonist firefighter years ago. They made a movie about them.
That's what they're like.
Yeah. This is just a bad time. Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it really a bad time in the country?
You know what it is?
It is just a bad time.
It's not just a bad time. It's a depressing time. It's a depressing time. I feel bad. But there are people still on Twitter, you see them, and on Facebook that still, they still say this. He's still better than Trump.
I don't know how.
Trump.
I don't know how they could say that.
We could be under attack from another country and have buildings being blown up, and they would still say it's better than Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how sick these people are. They really are demented. I don't understand. You don't have to like Trump. That's okay. But be an adult and understand that it is not better now than under Trump. It is not better by a long shot. And at least be adult enough to admit that. I mean, under Trump, we were paying less than $2 a gallon.
Way under.
It was like $1.50
Yeah.
in some of our gas stations here. And now it's going up to close to $4.50 by us. It's gone up $3. $3
and it's still
in
rising.
Less than 2 years.
It rises every hour.
Well, I put in your YouTube channel, Brian Craig. We have the community section and we do polls and questions. And we got over 200 responses. I put in yesterday the other day. How high do you think gas prices are going to go in this country? And most people said about $8 or $9. They're going to go up about $8 or $9.
I think so. I think here in Florida, we're going to hit $5 for regular unleaded.
If it hits $5, that is the highest it has ever been in Florida, ever. I remember under Bush or Obama that the gas prices were pretty high, and they were like they are now, $4.50, $4.75. What is it with these Democrats? But if it hits $5 in Florida, that is the highest I've ever seen it in my entire life. And I've lived here for over 50 years.
I was talking earlier this week that I was going to start. Kathy got me a scooter. We were talking about this. I have a 150cc motor scooter, and I just use it to drive around the neighborhood for fun or go down to the beach, or on the weekends I drive it around. And and I don't use it as my. It has less than 300 miles on it. And I was going to start using that today as like my primary vehicle to go to work on in the morning.
Yeah,
and it was raining this morning. It was raining this morning, and
it does rain a lot here.
And then it was rain later in the morning when I got off the air, and it was raining pretty hard for a while. Florida, it's very difficult. Florida is I know it's the subtropics, but we're in the tropics, and it rain, and we're starting to move into rainy season as March gets here, and it rains all the time. And I'm not going to ride my scooter in the rain, so it's the gas prices. Let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you something. This is going to be – the Democrats are done in the midterms. These gas prices are going to affect the price of everything you do, everything. What's going to take a big hit too is tourism, because it costs more. Sometimes I'll drive up to Disney World on the weekend, because it's like a 2.5-hour drive from the house. And I was just thinking yesterday – I think, how much would it cost me in gas to drive to Disney World and back right now?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't go.
Yeah, before it would be, about 6 months ago, we could probably fill the car. Now, we have an SUV, but then we have my car. It's a Mini Cooper. which is
$25 the Mini Cooper.
So you could probably fill it up for under, when we first got it, you could fill it up for $25.
I haven't filled your car up yet since the
prices. We're going to have to. And now it's about double that. So if you drove the Mini Cooper, you can go the whole way, probably just make it on one tank. So it'd be at least $100, as before it would be $50, $60. So I'd say back and forth $120. You know, my mom was going to go to Canada. She's turning 80 this year. So she was going to go to Canada to visit her family and drive up all through and visit her where she was born and all. You know, Alan Thicke is from the same town as my mother, Kirkland Lake, and go up all through there. And she told me today, she said, I think it's her big 80th birthday. She was going to go back home, see her family and friends. And she said, you know, I think I'm going to cancel my trip because of the gas prices. She said, I'm so upset about it because they were going to drive, her and my stepdad. And she said, I figure between driving up and driving back, it'd be like $1,500 in gas alone. And because gas in Canada is $8 a liter now. It's always
not
more
a liter.
money.
It's not $8 a liter.
They do it in liters.
Yeah, but they don't charge $8 a liter. There's no way. That'd be like $32 a gallon, or how many liters are in a gallon? It'd be over $32 a gallon.
I don't know, maybe $8 a gallon then, but it's more. Yeah. It's they do it in liters, and Canada gas is always more than it is in the States. So whatever, maybe $8 a gallon. She figured, but you know, it's a lot. Plus the exchange rate on the Canadian dollar, so that affects it too. So she told me, she said, I'm going to cancel my trip. She's been planning this trip for a while for her big 80th, and I just think that's kind of sad. So how is that? So now that's money she won't be spending
up there,
driving, buying gas, staying in hotels, eating in restaurants. Now that's one person. You know, how many people are canceling their summer trips now because of this? I remember when this happened under Obama, travel was very light, and that has a huge effect on the economy. But these people don't care. Go buy a Tesla, and you're fine. Go buy a Tesla.
That's right. You know, and they used to make fun of Ronald Reagan, trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics is capitalism. You know, you spend money, you make money, and you go and spend it, and that business makes money, and then they spend money on salaries and merchandise. Yeah. And when gas prices are this high, not only do prices go up, people buy fewer things.
Right. Exactly.
And it's going to have
a huge effect.
It's going to have this is going to have a major effect on the economy in ways that I don't even want to imagine. Because you know, when President Trump was in office for his first term, this was like America was a paradise. Everything was great.
It was, and we're gonna have a recession.
Because of Biden.
By the end of the year, there's going to be a recession.
Yeah.
You know, everything was going great in this country
until
economically until COVID, and you know, you could draw your own conclusions from that, and all that happened. And then when Biden came along, it was like the final nail in the coffin to the economy, because things were starting to pick up again. Things were starting to open up again, especially here in Florida. You know, Disney was opening and things were opening and people were getting back to normal. And then Biden comes along, and there's this video Jacquelyn, one of our Patreons, sent us. It's really good. Brian's going to go through it maybe this weekend on his live stream. And it's a pastor at a black church, and he just rips Biden to shreds to his congregation, talking about how he destroyed the country in less than a year, and how could one person manage to do this? And he talks about that, the gas prices especially. And like you said yesterday, and this is a liberal church, and yesterday you said that gas is, or the other day, is like an equalizer. People on both sides do not like to pay this much.
Brings everyone
it affects
together.
Everybody drastically.
That's right. Well, listen, we're all out of time for today. We'll be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
There's a new fashion line for those who want to pursue what they love, no matter what, and show others that nothing is impossible as long as you believe. The Miranda line, available online at mirandaline.com, offer high-quality, comfortable clothing that's both socially and environmentally conscious, which will allow you to feel good about the clothing you're wearing. Whether you're looking for t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, beanies, biodegradable phone cases, they have it all. These clothes and accessories are made on demand to reduce fabric waste. They're eco-friendly. All the materials can be recycled and are compostable. When you visit the store, make sure to sign up for their email list for great deals. Visit mirandaline.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can discover the Miranda Line too. mirandaline.com. Start shopping right now.